Hello and welcome back to the video of today. This week it is not a tactical or battle rap video, but just a state of the opera, the state of my army at the moment. This is what I painted in the last few months. One unit of line grenadier, one unit of Swiss infantry, the 2nd Battalion Swiss, one unit of Leger, 4 Leger, and one unit of line infantry. No, this one is the Leger and this one is the line infantry. And with this detachment of Irish Voltigeur, I end the 3rd French Brigade. Here some officer I recover an affair, 2 old style model. This one will be the general of the 3rd Brigade. I painted one officer for the light cavalry brigade, and I paint this officer for the heavy cavalry brigade, and that's it for the French painted recently. And now moving to the Brits. You have just seen into the battle rap and never really fight. The 1st and the 3rd Guard battalions, they are Perry, as some 60 rifle, some from Perry, some are conversion. I decided to use the Guard in standard 24 men for the sake of simplicity, and that's it why you can see in that number, but I use the regular rule. The same I'll do for the incoming Austrian. I don't want to paint so many model, so I decided to go for 24 model in the army. Then the Guard officer and Duke of Wellington and its Commander Picton, and that's it for the British, the painted British. Now I'm working on the 3rd British Brigade. Here I have one of the battalion in the paint bench. They will be the 1st Scots. No, they will be the 5th King German Legion. The 1st Scot is just painted. The 5th King German Legion. What I left to paint is 2 British cavalry and the remaining British brigade here, and one of this unit here will become Portuguese. I need to change the head and they became Portuguese. For the French, still have to paint cavalry, and what I've made is to convert and get a 2nd unit of cuirassiers. So I will complete my project to have a brigade of heavy cavalry with 2 unit of cuirassiers and a brigade of light cavalry. But now moving to the rest of the working project. A few more things that I have to do. This one finally arrived. My favorite French Marshal, Davout, which I need for the European campaign to fight against the Austrian, not in the peninsula. Then Kellerman, which I decided to use as Marshal Lanz because it's the 2nd my favorite Marshal, and it's quite impossible in Italy to get a proper Marshal Lanz miniatures. So Kellerman will be transformed into Marshal Lanz. Then I recover an old Marshal Soult that I'm going to repaint and use in the Peninsula campaign. And finally, with Davout, I bought the General Ale for the British, the proper General Ale, so the other generic one can be Moore or whatever I want. And that's for the officer that I still have to paint. And then my support for the Peninsula campaign, an understring unit of Cacadores Portuguese cacadores, and a unit here I bought. In reality, my friends grant me this gift for Christmas, because this model are great to make. With this one, a unit of Spanish guerrilla. He is also part of the gift, this one, but this kit is very good for make guerrilla with some of this model, and with some work I'm pretty sure that I can easily get a unit of Spanish infantry. The uniform are not the same but not so different, and they have the bicorn, and with some green stuff and some work of paint and scouting, I positive in transform them in a Spanish unit of infantry. I know that is possible to buy, but I probably will use this unit once or twice in a year or in months, so I really don't want to spend money on them. They will be a rug dressed infantry for the Peninsular campaign, and they will work perfectly. And from this pair miniatures, 38 miniatures, 24 will become a unit of Spanish infantry using this model here, and that one with some conversion and will become the rest of the guerrilla units. So at the end, when everything for the peninsula is will be ready, I will have a unit of Portuguese infantry, a unit of cacadores for the British side, and a unit of Spanish line, plus a unit of guerrilla and a unit of cavalry guerrilla, again with conversion and using a lot of horses that I have spare from the Austrian boxes and spare horses that I have all around. So it will be an interesting month for this winter. I hope, really hope, to end all this stuff for the spring. I hope to finish at least the 2 peninsular army for the next spring, March or April at worst, so that I can start work on that pile that you can spot behind Gerald, which are all Austrian infantry, so I can start to work on my Austrian infantry. And that's it for today. They're a great model. I like the idea for the guerrilla, because they are a really interesting model to paint and put some change, some difference. Always paint French and Brits and French. They look different. They look cool. So it's kind of look like a cowboy more than a Spanish peasant with a handgun in his hand. I'm very excited for the project of Spain and guerrilla. I hope to make a good job with them, but they are the last one before I need to finish their parents' unit to join the Brits and the French. The French are only with some guns of the artillery and the unit of cavalry from the finish. They have still 4 long battalion of infantry to paint before I can claim the Brits is over. And that's it for this week. This week I will put other video on the channel about Lion Rampant, another historical game, so no time for a bad rap this week with Napoleon, and I take a break from it for some days, but I'll back with another video next week. This time it's over. It's a short one, but I hope that you enjoyed it anyway. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.